What's up everyone, Silverpone here, and today I wanted to make a video talking about some Xenoverse 3. And I've made a few videos on Xenoverse 3 before, but I kind of talked about the open map aspect a little bit. In certain videos, I guess in certain points as well, but I kind of wanted to go more in depth today and talk about the open map aspect of Xenoverse 3 and why, if Xenoverse 3 ever happens, why the open map concept should actually be a thing. Let's get into the 10 reasons why Xenoverse 3 should incorporate open map. Really quick, I just wanted to state that in the making of this video, I also did go and ask ChatGPT-4 some questions about having an open map and like certain things about that, that you'll kind of see like the screenshots pop up during this video. It wasn't exactly ChatGPT-4, but it was the Snapchat AI that is powered by it. So technically it is, but yeah, just letting you guys know, you'll see a little bit of that in the video. So yeah, now the first thing should be exploration. Exploration would be amazing in Xenoverse 3 if the maps are open map. If you have an area of the map you're able to fly to, and then it takes, maybe like 5 to 10 minutes to get to the other side of the map, or a decent amount of time, something like Kakarot. Whatever Kakarot's maps were like, something like that. You'd be able to just fly around and explore the maps and see like new scenery, and see how they incorporate the old maps of Xenoverse 2 into the new maps that are a much bigger area. It'd be just something very cool to see how they go about it and what they end up doing, because it's very much possible. The world tournament stage, like you see usually in Xenoverse 2, they have a map for that in Kakarot as well. I don't know if it's the exact same layout, but it's very similar. So I don't see why they couldn't do certain things like that, as well as like the glacier area. They have an area like that in Kakarot 2 from the Xenoverse 2 map, but it's just more panned out and a little bit more zoomed out. I'll put them on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, exploration is in the sense of just seeing new areas and seeing how they incorporate them in the game and going about it and just looking around everywhere. It'd be very cool. It'd be like a new thing to do. Because I'm pretty sure if the map is huge, you're going to want to just fly around and be like, oh, this is cool. Let me look over here and over here. But yeah, definitely want to see them go about exploration in a cool way. Maybe like incorporate some more things like underwater too, maybe like in the sky. I don't know, they could go crazy with it. Moving on to number 2, a new way to play the game and to rehash old themes. Meaning certain things that you see in Xenoverse 2 now, they could rehash it in Xenoverse 3 in a new way and make it a little bit more clean. For instance, the Majin Buu kids, you give them candy and they go around to find you costumes and items and whatnot. So say for instance, if Xenoverse 3 was an open map and you feed the Majin Buu kids like candy or whatever, maybe if you go explore around the map, kind of leaning back into number 1, you kind of can see the Majin Buu kids around the map and you can talk to them. And maybe like the more times you see them around the map in certain areas, the higher chance they have of having like a higher tier item or something like that, or a rare item or whatever. But I think it'd be very cool if you could see them around the map in like certain areas, because they could incorporate that way, as well as like I forgot what Hercule demanded from you. I think you needed to give Hercule like either Hercule medals or something of the sort. But I feel like it'd be cool to see like Hercule around the map as well, just kind of like doing whatever Mr. Satan does, whatever he gets into. That'd be pretty cool. But like different ways to incorporate CPUs and like how you get items, that would just be pretty insane. Trying to think of another one off the top of my head. I mean, finding masters as well. Like maybe not every single master that you get as a teacher is inside of Catan City or whatever the new city will be called. Maybe you have to kind of like venture around the map areas to find, a teacher. Like maybe Bardock will be over in the glacier area, or maybe if you kind of fly up into the sky somewhere, you'll see like maybe like Zamasu's chilling up there. I don't know, but it'd be cool. Just certain ways to rehash old themes as well. Like I definitely think too, if you're exploring like around the map, they should have like, items and whatnot around everywhere, kind of get you to like give you more of an incentive to explore. Like Kakarot has like orbs everywhere. They could do like maybe TP medals that float in the air or something to give you an incentive to fly over there. But yeah, there's different things I can think of on this point. If I think of any more, I'll cut them in and talk about them for a second. But if you have any ideas on this point as well, leave them down below. Moving on to number 3. Parallel quests and expert quests. Now, if parallel quests and expert quests are incorporated into Xenoverse 3, which they would be, I don't know why they wouldn't be. It's a core aspect of the game. They could make them even better than they already are. Parallel questing, for example, they are usually set within a certain map area, and you have transporters everywhere to get around from one area of the map to another area of the map. And sometimes you have like enemies in different areas of the map. I think that if you were to go into this game, there should be like a little bit more favor towards maybe multiplayer parallel quests. I still feel like offline parallel quests and multiplayer quests could be the same thing, but maybe if you're playing with friends, there's more enemies. Like if they were to have like an open map area, right? You could have one enemy on one side of the map somewhere. Let's just call it area A. And then on area B, on the other side of the map, you could have another enemy over there. So you and your party kind of have to split up and take on both enemies in each area and kind of defeat them within a certain amount of time to get the ultimate finish, which, I don't know, at that point they're utilizing all the space for every single map that they have pretty ideally there for parallel quests. You don't have to do that for every little quest, you know, but I feel like, you know, a little bit of like a mid-flight like in quest and have some like dialogue between characters or something would be nice. It doesn't have to be like exaggerated and over the top to the point where, you know, it just kind of drags on and you're kind of waiting for combat, but you know, they can mix it together and make it seem a little bit more fluid, and that would work together very well. Certain maps in Xenoverse 2 are a decent size, like the mountain map. I think the mountain map is probably one of the biggest ones in the game. If not, it just seems like it because all the structures and mountains everywhere. But yeah, like they could just improvise with all the areas, like having more big enemies on the map too, I guess. We'll get into that later, but having more giant enemies, like, you know, Namekians or great apes. So yeah. Number 4, transitions in combat. Now, transitions in the sense of like, if you're fighting in a bigger area, Kakarot has a good example of this, where if you hit somebody in a certain animation or a certain combo, it triggers an animation where you'll punch somebody through a mountain or something and they'll fly and hit the ground or whatever. Xenoverse doesn't have any of this, and they could do it with the maps they already have. Like the size maps they have would be great for it still. But if you have a bigger map, you can make this on a larger scale and make it seem more like a Dragon Ball battle. Like maybe if you have like 3 or 4 mountains lined up together, if you trigger a certain combo or something near the mountain, it has this animation that starts up, and you fly through like 4 or 5 mountains or whatever and hit the ground. And then for the rest of the duration of the battle, like the mountains are gone and there's just a crater there where you fell. Or, you know, also stage transitions too. So if you're fighting like in the wasteland area and you have like this crazy combo where it knocks you up into the sky, maybe your character flies all the way up into the sky and you're in the sky map now. Like the sky map that Xenoverse 2 has, you're just in that area. And that could be its own area in and of itself, and they could just widen that too. The sky map, it seemed pretty big in and of itself as well. So that's just certain ways they could do it. And then in turn, if you do another combo, you can hit somebody down from the sky area, knock them all the way back down to maybe like, I don't know, like Glacier map or World Tournament stage, who knows? It could be something crazy. So map destruction and stage transitions would be highly possible with like bigger maps. It'd make it even better. Like I said, you're just adding to the effect of Dragon Ball and making it seem more Dragon Ball-esque. You're just kind of immersing the player a little bit more in the world. Xenoverse 2 can do this, but the maps and size, you're not able to have like the large-scale destruction that, you know, you kind of see in the anime. Kakarot is able to do this fluidly with some of the things that they have at hand, like the combat, the graphics, the map size. They're able to do this like almost flawlessly. So Xenoverse 3, if it comes out, I feel like that should be a big factor in the game as well. Alright, so let's get into number 5. Raid battles, single and multiplayer. Also crystal raids as well. Raid battles would be very cool in the sense of like, I mentioned this in a video before, I think, but if you were flying around an area, an open map area like Kakarot in Xenoverse 3, again, and you just kind of like, you know, you're just looking around or whatever, flying around, maybe like a Frieza spaceship comes down, it'll be like an event icon that's happening, you can fly over there, the ship lands, you have Frieza, Paragus, and Broly come out, and it's just a Broly raid at that point. So you fight Broly for a set amount of time. It could be any enemy, but I'm just giving an example here. You fight Broly for a set amount of time, and after you kind of get him down to a certain level of health, maybe Frieza will just one-shot Paragus on the side. I'll have a cutscene for that in Xenoverse fashion, and at that, Broly powers up. And when Broly powers up, it goes into like the true second half of the raid where Broly just has complete super armor, he's just tanky, and you have to kind of just survive at that point. But if you get through the entire mission, maybe you get rewarded with some crazy gear, crazy loot. Like they could have timed events like these that just happen in certain areas of the map. Maybe in one map they have like the Dr. Gero event where you need to hunt down Dr. Gero, and maybe once you find him, you get like some cool like android parts or something, like maybe not android parts, but like something cool for like an android CAC, or you know, just a couple of cool moves or whatnot. They can make it very cool. Another raid they could have is the island where 17 is. Maybe a raid takes place where you're flying around over there and a bunch of Cell Juniors pop up, and they, you know, maybe merge into one full power like Cell Junior, or if they don't do that, they're just all super tough Cell Juniors. Raid in of itself. They could get creative with these raids is my point. Having maps as big as they are and having different layouts, as well as incorporating new maps from Super and making them a bigger layout as well, you'll be able to have all types of events and raids that you can incorporate almost endlessly and keep the game's longevity at an all-time high for a long time. So that'd be very cool. If you have any other ideas for the raid quests in Expert Quest 2, let me know down below, because I'm actually interested in how they would implement this and additional features with it too. So yeah. Number 6, my fault. Tournaments and Tournament of Power modes. Now, tournaments we already have in Xenoverse 2. They have a tournament going on right now, I think, at the recording of this video that I'm doing. There's an Orange Piccolo tournament happening where you can only play as Orange Piccolo, and they have these tournaments like these. That's just one example. They have multiple tournaments where you have a certain amount of characters you can play as, or a set amount of characters. It'll be like a certain theme, maybe Universe 6 Sans, or maybe Tournament of Power tournament or whatever. You can only pick Tournament of Power characters. They have it in a certain layout in Xenoverse 2. Xenoverse 3, I feel like tournaments would usually kind of stay the same for the most part, and they should give us the option to spectate this time. And the battles, I think they should utilize the big screen TV they have in the middle of the World Tournament. So maybe if the fight kind of goes a little bit higher up into the air, you kind of have to rely on the TV at that point as like a spectator. That'd be very cool too. Like, because if the map is bigger, they're gonna have to widen like the area of the fight as well a little bit. Doesn't have to be too broken. Like, still have like a barrier up, you know, but have it to where like utilize the bigger screen a little bit, so people actually have to watch it and you kind of feel like you're actually watching the actual fight as it's happening. I feel like that'd be something very cool as well. Maybe having like emotes on the side or whatever, I don't know. And as well as having tournaments, there's not really much you would change aside from that, what I mentioned, but you could also add a new mode, which would be Tournament of Power. You could have a Tournament of Power map and have it be like a huge free-for-all, have certain universal teams, I guess. You can load in with a team that's set for whatever universe you pick, I guess, like Universe 6, Universe 7, Universe 8, whatever. You can pick whichever universe you want to represent. You get loaded in with either a team of people you enter in with or random people, and you just have like a huge mosh pit in this Tournament of Power map. I don't know how they would go about that though, because again, like Tournament of Power had no flight, but maybe they would incorporate flight if they did a mode like this. I know Dragon Ball Legends had a Tournament of Power mode, and then when you fight in that game, everyone is flying, so don't see why not. So that'd be very cool. Oh yeah, and they should give you great rewards for this as well. I think that amazing rewards should be in line for the tournaments as well. Maybe even better than what we get now in Xenoverse 2. I know they give you like sometimes the little icons that go above your player. They should keep those. I don't even have one of those yet, but if they can give some more of those to people in tournaments and Tournament of Powers, that would be a cool reason to enter in and get some icons for your character. So yeah, I want to get into number 7 now. Diverging storylines. So in turn, if you have a big map in Xenoverse 3, as with all these other points that I've mentioned, you could have like, the story mode could be inevitably bigger. You could have certain things happening in one storyline, say like a good or evil story path, right? A lot of people want that in Xenoverse 3. If you have certain things happening in the good storyline on certain parts of the maps, I'm sorry, because it's going to be open map, kind of similar to Kakarot, not like open world, but just segmented maps that are big, is what I'm getting at. If you have those, maybe certain things happen on the good side in certain areas, and then in other areas, certain things happen on the evil side that trigger events. So if you play one side of the story, you're going to be fighting in certain areas and seeing how it unfolds in that area of the map. But then if you swap to another storyline, you know, with another character or something, or you're replaying the story mode, you can go through and play the other side and kind of get the feel of what's going on the other area of the map and how they're going about whatever's happening in the story at that point. And it doesn't have to just be 2 storylines, you know, it could be multiple. If you have different parties showing up and things happening, like, the story could infinitely take a lot of different turns if Xenoverse goes within their own traditional story, because the story can be crafted however they want to go about it, being that Xenoverse in and of itself is, you know, they're among just all the timelines that are being misshapen and misused and all this. So a lot can happen in Xenoverse 3's story. Storylines being something important. I don't think it should just be one set storyline anymore. Especially if this game is supposed to be the 3rd game, it's going to have replay value, so that's a perfect reason for them to go about having different storylines as well. Number 8. Minigames and CPU quests. Now, Kakarot has the perfect example of what I'm talking about with minigames. They have the baseball game, kind of like at Gohan's high school, where you kind of hit the baseball, and they have different characters like Vegeta or Yamcha that throw you the ball, like the pitcher. They could do different modes. Like they could do a soccer mode. They could do still keep the baseball mode, keep the new fishing method. They could even go about just many different mini games. And if you have an idea for any type of mini games they could incorporate, please comment them down below, because that would be just, I feel like there's just almost limitless potential for what amount of mini games they could put in the game, just around if you're flying around. And that kind of goes back into number 1 as well, which was exploration. So if you're exploring around the map, you know, flying around, you kind of can see like different CPUs and go up to them or whatever, and they have like mini games for you to do or whatnot, or mini games around the map. There was even a driving mini game in Kakarot too. Like there could be something like that in Xenoverse 3 if they have a bigger map. Like I said though, a bigger map leads for more play space and more improvising to do, or more improvising that they can do to incorporate new things. So I really just think that the open map is just the best thing for them to do at this point. And I know I keep saying it, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't think they should keep the same format as 2. But yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into number 9, because I'll kind of talk about that some more in the last point. Oh yeah, my fault. No, I wanted to talk about the CPU quest as well. CPUs could have like certain quests. We already have parallel quests in the game. You know, you just go to the little stand, you start up a parallel quest, start up an offline quest, whatever. But CPUs should be able to hand out specific quests now as well. So maybe if you're flying around one area of the map, a CPU with like a certain icon above their head, a CPU with a certain icon above their head can give you a specific quest. that in turn you can only get from that specific CPU. This would make questing a little bit more interesting too, because there's set quests you can only get from a certain individual person, meaning that they could go about this in a different way. So maybe you have one person give you one quest, another person give you one quest, another person give you a quest, and all three of these quests line up with each other, like in a row or whatnot. And after you complete the third one, you get like some exotic crazy item for your CAC or a move. Even more incentive to keep playing the game and exploring the map and doing whatever you have to do. Xenoverse 3 is just the perfect candidate to have an open map. I think also Xenoverse 2 had a mode where you search for the Dragon Balls in a parallel quest, and you fly around, find the Dragon Balls, and bring them back to the time machine, I think, or something like that. This could be done even better in an open map setting where the map is bigger. You can in turn fly around, look for the Dragon Balls, and go about it that way instead of having to go into a quest all the time. Maybe you're just flying around the area and maybe like a certain enemy looms over the Dragon Ball in the area you're looking for. So you fly down to the area where the Dragon Ball is, and a certain powerful enemy is just there. You have to defeat them to get the Dragon Ball. So at the same time you're still fighting, but you're also able to just fly around and look for it. And maybe make it to where you have to unlock a Dragon Ball radar for your character at some point. I don't know. By talking to Bulma or something. I don't know how they go about it, but I have a lot of concepts for Xenoverse 3. I can make videos about Xenoverse 3 for a long time. But yeah, I accidentally skipped over number 9, but I'm coming back to that point now. And number 9 was more giants. I think the game needs more giants, and I briefly mentioned this earlier in another point, but having more giants would make the game a little bit better too, like having more implementation of great apes, as well as having more implementation of Namekians, like great giant Namekians. And whatever else they want to do, they'll be able to add like bigger bosses to the game as well, like Hirudegarn. If you remember Hirudegarn from the Dragon Ball Z movie, he could be a new boss fight, or the gigantic metal cooler from Ultimate Tenkaichi. We could have him return. You could also have new people become giants as well, like Orange Piccolo. He became a giant in the new Superhero movie. So if you were able to bring him into Xenoverse 3, maybe he will have his gigantic form in that game. So maybe that would be another reason for them to incorporate Orange Piccolo in a DLC. I don't know. But if he wasn't DLC, I mean, like, yeah, maybe just give him his gigantic form. He has a transformation, let him use it, you know? And I guess you could say, like, if Orange Piccolo was in the game and he had that form, you could argue, would he have to be his own character at that point? Because if he has his own transformation, you wouldn't be able to pick base Piccolo and transform into Orange Piccolo and then go giant, unless they're all, you know, unless all the forms are linked together, and you can only achieve giant after transforming into orange. But yeah, I'm getting off into a tangent, but yeah, that's pretty much number 9. And lastly, at number 10, new ways to spin TP and Zenny. I'm pretty sure that with the inclusion of a bigger maps, I should say, they're gonna find different ways for you to spin TP and Zenny. Along with a lot of the other points I said involving mini games and parallel quests and whatnot, they're gonna incorporate just new ways for you to do all of this. I don't have a specific example in mind about how they would do this, but in my 10 things Xenoverse 3 should have video, I did mention that they should be a clothing shop or a premium clothing shop. Again, if they implement this idea into the game, maybe certain materials are required to make certain things, I don't know. But either way, that would give you something to do to spin TP or Zenny on premium clothes from other creators. I'm pretty sure, like, maybe, I know items are still going to cost money. They're going to have items like mixing shops and all of that. There's still going to be a way for you to spin Zenny and stuff there. I did talk about in one of my videos about if they have like a house or something, which is like a little bit of a stretch, but if your CAC ever has a house, they're going to, best believe you're going to be paying an arm and a leg for furnishings in that house. Especially if you're able to invite people inside. That'll give you a little bit more of a reason to decorate it in the first place, because why would you decorate something if you can't have people inside of it or whatever? It's just for you. I mean, it still look cool, but being able to invite players in and like do specific like training missions together, like having your own dojo there would be cool. So yeah, and I really do, if Xenoverse 3 comes out, I really want them to have an open map. So I decided like, hey, on the off chance that this video does get a little bit of attention and somebody views it and they kind of have the same viewpoints, maybe, you know, it'll be more of a consideration for it when Xenoverse 3 is in development, if it is in development already. Maybe the right person will see the video and, you know, make a change. I'm pretty sure that won't happen, but either way, I still want to talk about it. It's a cool point. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video, by the way. It was kind of just me ranting at the end of the day, but I kind of just made this video off the top of my dome. I kind of just sat here and was like, you know what? Xenoverse 3 needs to have an open map. I'm just going to think about 10 reasons why it should be incorporated. Also, let me know if you have any other additional ideas that should be incorporated into Xenoverse 3. If you want to build upon some of the ideas I left on this video, that'd be awesome too. Maybe like tidy up some of the points I made here, because not all of my points were completely tidy here, I will admit. But if you can think of a better way to implement some of them, or, you know, new ideas, feel free to leave them down below. I will be responding and I'm open. I want to hear all of you guys' opinions. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. I'm going to aim for 10 likes on this video. If we don't hit it, it's fine. Like I said, I'm not here to build a super huge audience or anything. It's just simply for fun at the end of the day. So thanks again. I'll say thanks again for like the 4th time, but take it easy.